Hey Kings and Queens, this is Queen Jones here, and I am bringing to you another episode of Life of Queens. So today's title of the video is Money Management Mondays, and I'm just going to give you a few tips and tricks as to how to save money, how to manage money, things like that, things that have worked for me. I'll give you some of my personal experiences as well. But first I got to show you something. You ready? He's still our president. Sipping my tea. Okay, so we'll start. So the first tip that I'm going to give you is paying off your credit card bills before the finance charges hit. So you know that every month within the billing cycle, you have finance charges and things like that. So when you make purchases within a month, my suggestion, what has always worked for me, is paying that bill off before, paying more money on that bill before the large finance charges hit. First of all, you shouldn't even have credit cards with high finance charges, but that's another Oprah. Pay attention to store credit cards. I know sometimes, us fashionistas and shoppinistas and every nista, sometimes you go into the mall and there is the salesperson trying to get you to open a credit card. And if you open that credit card, you will get 15 to 20% off your purchase for the day. Here's the thing. Sounds great. You make a big purchase, you get that 15% off. If you don't pay that bill off before the end of the month or before the finance charges hit, and most likely that store credit card has a high APR, which is maybe about 29%, 27%, that's way too high. So if you're saving 15%, 15 to 20%, but then you're getting hit with a finance charge that's 27 to 29%, how does that discount make sense if you don't pay that balance off? So if you want that discount, go ahead, get that discount, but pay the bill off before the finance charge hits. That's worked for me. Another tip that I'm going to give you is paying more than the minimum balance due. Sometimes you have a $59 or $25 minimum balance due on a large, well, $25 wouldn't really be on a large. So as I was saying, is the other tip is to pay more on your minimum balance due. Every month when you get your credit card statement, you'll see an area that says minimum payment. And then there's also on your credit card, I don't know how close attention you guys pay to your credit card statements, which you should be fine-tuning everything in that credit card statement, is they'll show you if you pay the minimum balance, it'll show you how long it would take for you to pay that bill off at that point in time. So for instance, you can have a credit card bill of like $400. And if you continue to just pay the minimum balance that they're asking for, it can take you like 4 to 5 years to pay that $400 off. That doesn't make any sense because in that time, they're charging you all those APR fees, those finance fees, and that makes absolutely no sense. So my other tip that I'm going to give you is, okay, so this is a personal story. So, when I was back in college, young, didn't know much about money management, about credit cards, and there are a lot of people that I like to call, or credit card companies that I like to call campus hitters, because they target college campuses knowing that some young people don't know anything about credit cards, don't know anything about, debt, money management, stuff like that. So I opened like maybe 2 credit cards and, I'm like, I can pay the minimum balance, I can do this. And long story short is they got way out of hand, completely out of hand. And I ended up having all this debt on small purchases that I made, but I was just making the minimum payment and paying that and just paying that, and the APR charge was through the roof, and they kept charging me about 29% each month, and I would pay the minimum balance, and it just, needless to say, my debt grew for purchases that I didn't even make. It was more of the finance charges and all the fees that come along with credit cards. So what I had to do was I had to take those 2 credit cards and another third one, which was a store card. And I had to actually consolidate those cards because it was killing me. All my money was going into paying bills for credit cards for purchases that I made like years ago. Made no sense. So I actually did a debt consolidation program, where I consolidated my 3 to 4 cards, probably 5. No, it's 4. My 3 to 4 cards. I consolidated them, and when you are on a consolidation program, you actually have to close all your existing cards. You can choose to keep 1 or 2, but you cannot open any credit cards or any lines of. You can have a school loan, or you can do like a car loan, but anything outside of that you can't do while you're on a debt consolidation program. So I actually did this, and it worked for me. What would have taken me 10 years to pay off actually took me 4 years to pay off. And it actually slashed my APRs in half, or actually more than half, maybe about 70% of my APRs went down like this. And it afforded me the opportunity to put that money that I was spending on paying off those cards that the balances weren't going anywhere. It afforded me the opportunity to take that money and channel it into other areas like my education. So my next, speaking of education, which is a great segue, is loan consolidation. You know, some of us are not as fortunate as others, Donald Trump and his children, to actually go to school and not take out a school loan. So during my undergraduate degree, I probably was only maybe about $5,000 in debt, which is not that bad for an undergraduate degree, because I went to CUNY, big up Brooklyn College. But for my master's, I actually had to take out a huge loan because I was unemployed at the time, and you got to pay for school, got to do what you have to. So loan consolidation, if you have more than one loan for school, a couple of loans, and you have those fees and stuff, them little nasty fees, my suggestion to you is to look into consolidating those loans to see how you can get your monthly payments down. Loan forgiveness programs. So those of you out there who are working for the state, public service, civil service, if you're working for the state, you're working for the city, if you're in public health, if you're teaching, if you're a lawyer who's working in the DA's office, in some form of public service, you can get loan forgiveness. Just look into it. Do your research. I've done my research, and I am in public health and public service, so I qualify for that. So under the loan forgiveness for public health, public service, things of that nature, civil service, you actually make 120 consecutive payments. They can't be late. Consecutive payments, which works out to be about 10 years if you pay every month. And then the rest of your loan, if you still have a balance, would be forgiven. Look into that, guys, because I know it's going to help somebody. Another tip is, I don't know, I am of West Indian descent, Guyanese and Bajan, or Barbadian, and my family, my culture believes in something they call box money, susu, han, that kind of thing, where it's like you have one person who will collect money each week or each month from participants, and it's like kind of like a banking system. And you collect money, so you set up a system wherever it's 6 months to a year and a half, however that person sets it up, and you pay weekly. So it's like, for me, the one that I do, I pay about $50 a week, and which adds up to maybe $200, $250, depending on how many weeks are in a month. And I give that to my aunt. She's the one that runs it. And you collect your hand at some point in time according to her schedule. So what it is you'll get that lump sum of money, but you'll still pay each month until the box hand is over. And what I've found is that has helped me out tremendously, especially in times where I had a school bill to pay, or I had some large thing to pay immediately, and I had that opportunity to do so because I was throwing susu or box hand. Okay, another tip that has saved me a lot of money is I don't have time to eat breakfast at home in the morning because I live in Long Island and I travel all the way to the city for work, so ain't nobody got time for that. So I actually eat breakfast at work. So I don't buy breakfast. I bring breakfast to work. So I'll bring like my oatmeal, my yogurt, my fruits, my cereal. I'll have all my stuff at work, my tea, and things like that. I also bring my lunch to work, or I try to most days bring my lunch to work. And what I've found is I've saved a lot of money, especially working in a city like Manhattan. You can, or New York, you can spend so much money on just like everyday things like food and coffee and tea, which brings me to my next point. I love Dunkin' Donuts. I love Dunkin' Donuts more than I do Starbucks because Starbucks makes me too damn jittery. Anyway, so I calculate I would every day I would get a large coffee in the morning from Dunkin' Donuts, pumpkin spice, that costs about $2.60. So I decided to calculate this. I'm like, all right, so if I'm getting a large coffee um, every day, I work about 5 days a week. You could say that's about 20 days in the month. Calculated it. That's $52. Do you know what I could do with $52? I love shoes. I love makeup. I love going on trips. That $52 could go into my savings account for something else. And then I have a car, which is always costing me money. That's another story. So yes, start making your coffee at work. We have a Keurig at work. I actually have a coffee press that I bought. So I interchange, like depending on how strong I want my coffee. So I'll make my coffee at work. So that's $2.60 a day that I am saving. And that's $52 that I am putting into the bank and pretending as if I'm buying a cup of coffee. Catch it? All right, so the last tip that I'm going to give you is just plain old school saving. So someone actually gave me this tip last week and I started doing it. Don't laugh at my small mason jar. I have to buy a larger one. But the challenge is to every time you get $5, when you break a 20 or whatever you break, take that $5, do not spend it, and put it in a jar. Told you I started last week, and I have 3 $5 bills. So that's $15 I saved from last week. So every time I have a $5 bill, I tuck it away and then I put it in my jar. So I'm going to challenge myself to do this for the whole year. I'm going to give you guys an update to let you know how much money I have in my jar. Hopefully it'll be a bigger jar by then. At the end of the year, to let you know how much money I've saved by just tucking away $5. So I have more tips I want to give you. I'll probably do like a series of videos where I'll talk a little bit more about money management and some more tips and things like that. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe, give us feedback, let us know how we're doing, let us know what you want us to do, what videos that you like. And we are just happy that you are tuning in to Life of Queens. I'm sipping my tea, and once again, Obama is still our president. Say it ain't so, say it is so. Bye, guys.